time has come, it's finally here. Oh, oh, you can turn the page, start anew, it begins right here. Oh, oh.
What I like about the school is mostly the project-based learning and working with partners.
I think projects help us learn. We interact with other students.
I like interacting with different people and learning what they're comfortable with, and I think it's just a better opportunity to learn and interact.
Traditionally, when you do a project, the project is the end, and sometimes we call it like the dessert to the learning. That's what you work on, you do all of your learning, and then you have an end product, where in project-based learning, we start with our end product, and the kids help choose the path that we're gonna go down.
With project-based learning, we instill the problem as part of the unit. So then we're trying to address that problem throughout the learning. We're just kind of building and scaffolding on as we kind of meet benchmarks throughout the project.
We didn't do it where we said, here you go, have fun. Day by day, we had certain goals that they needed to meet.
The teachers, they help us, but they more focus on us doing it so we can like really learn it for ourselves instead of just hearing it and not actually being able to research it.
My favorite part of learning through projects is you can learn more than just the questions you get on regular assignments.
One thing I like about it is that we first give them the problem of what we're going to be teaching them to see what type of prior knowledge they already have.
We do knows and need to knows, so we basically ask questions and then we tell what we already know. So then there's main ideas and questions that we need to figure out.
They're choosing what they're going to research, how they're going to research it, and then how they're going to get to that product. And we do many steps of the product along the way, which are called benchmarks. So when the students were studying the water project and participating in that project, they looked at the water that we have available in Michigan and the Great Lakes and surrounding areas, and the students were trying to determine if we should share our water and build pipelines to areas that are drought areas. And then they looked at jobs that you can have because of the water, challenges that you can have with jobs and finances due to the water that you have available to you, and they also studied if access to water is a human right or not.
The idea of not having enough water and other states wanting to take water from us and how it would affect our water supply here tied in really nicely in the science and social studies part of the project.
We built a 3D model in social studies to show where our pipeline would go.
We had it was like one of those maps that shows the mountains, and we were all just building the pipe together, and we even had a little plan to go through the ocean and the Gulf of Mexico, so it was a lot of fun.
We tested permeability of different types of soil you would find across the U.S.
We could just cover U.S. and Canadian geography, but when you present real world problems, it kind of gives more depth into those standards.
When students were studying Latin America, they were presented with a specific family and a budget and a time of year. And then they were given a country to research so they could plan a trip.
It has tropical climate and it's great for you and your family.
So they had a family in mind with the ages of the parents, the ages of the children, and they found flights, they found hotels, they researched the foods, the music, the things that they could do in that country, and then they presented it as they were travel agents to the community.
And we just had to present it. We had to make an itinerary and everything, so we would have something planned out for every day.
The feedback that we got from the adults and how wonderful they did, and then they used their own little rubrics that they received from the adults to get better the next time, they were pros by the end.
Carl eats a cheeseburger every single day at lunch, and he's noticed that he's become very constipated, and so his doctor recommends that he change his lunchtime diet, what he eats at lunch, to help solve his constipation. So the project is the students are designing a smoothie that will have the appropriate nutrients in there that will help to solve his constipation problems and other problems so that he no longer has any symptoms.
His cheeseburger has a lot of fats and stuff that isn't good for you.
So we'll look at graphs, and we're learning about how much starch, sugar, and salt and stuff is in the foods that are in Carl's burger.
We also get a lot of group work, so today they started designing their smoothies together, and so they have to, with their team, decide which ingredients they're going to use and then justify why those ingredients are the right ones, why they're going to taste good together, and also fix Carl's problems.
I picked raspberries, blueberries, bananas, and ice cream.
I spent some time talking about how the molecules themselves look for the macronutrients. and how the way the molecule looks affects if water is attracted to it or not. And as they're going through, they were all of a sudden, they're like, oh, proteins and fats, they don't attract water, so they're gonna get stuck in his body. That's why he's constipated. And they were so excited because they made it make sense that why it would spend all that time in there. And I was like, great, so like, what does he need to not be constipated? And they're like, well, the fiber attracts the water. He's gonna need so much fiber. And we're like, yeah, so they made that connection all by themselves, and I was so excited.
My favorite part of this year so far is the engagement that the students have and the buy-in that they have because they feel like they're in control of their own learning.
So they bought into that idea of the project and all the research that they put into it. So it's that ownership and pride in their work